Hey, here he is. Hello, Tel.
How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, good. Thank you, fella. How are you?
Yeah, really good, really good. Enjoying the lockdown.
You enjoying it, yeah? What you been up to then? What you been getting up to?
Just fucking working, mate.
Have
Grafting
you?
and doing whatever, ever we can. So yeah, no, it's been good. I mean, I've got a lot of things done that I probably wouldn't have done.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a lot for most of us, ain't it? We get time to think and have a clear head for a little bit, and there's enough time there. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Tel, I've been looking forward to you coming on, mate.
Right.
I say you've done so much for your life. I don't know if you've seen what I've been doing, but I'm doing lots about visualizations, a lot on the mind. I've had, lots of successful people like yourself on. I mean, you're talking to like people like Dane
I'm,
Kelly Holmes,
I'm
Wayne
not.
Lineker, how he started all of the, the ocean bars off and stuff, and
Right.
looking at the thought process behind it.
Right.
So yes, I was interested, like you. Obviously, you've had an amazing life, and looking at where you started off with One Nation.
If I do that, does that mean I'm upside down, or can you go the
Yeah,
same way?
you got sideways.
Right. Okay.
No, you gone that way. That's better. You'd be like, fucking, what's his name? Walking on the ceiling in a minute.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah, that's me.
But yeah, so thanks for coming on, mate. You've been doing good, though. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Getting your head down. So, how did it all start, Tell? Like, how did you get, how did it all come about? Because I've been watching sort of heard you on Dapper Laughs and things like on these podcasts and that. And because people to know like, how you come about it, because it was from, you started off just grafting the doors, didn't you? I was saying, is that it?
No, no. I literally was a raver back in the day, and then
Okay.
went from raving into giving out flyers, selling tickets, and then doing a magazine, and then putting a rave on. So all that stuff was mad, really, because I hadn't really done anything. I didn't know. I'd never done any business. I left school with no qualifications, so I had a
Okay, I was
crash
going to stop you
course
there,
in
right? Just to
crash
say,
course.
sorry, every single person that's been successful in here, let's go at 14 or done crap at school, even, as I say, most of the successful people over the last 4 weeks, it's really good for people to be aware of this, that if you're dyslexic like myself, you've got ADHD, you leave school early like I did, it's something about the age of 14. A lot of people seem to be leaving at the age of 14. It's weird. But most
Yeah.
self-made millionaires are dyslexic, they reckon, 87% of them. So anyone back at home, who's got kids with ADHD and that, don't be too worried because, they could end up more successful than anyone academic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I mean,
Terry, I just wanted to put that out.
all the people at my school that were either like the hardest in the school, or they were the fastest in
Yeah, running.
they were the best at rugby, or they were academic. They all ended up being bums. So
Yeah.
I think education's important, and I think it's good to get good grades and all the rest of it. But I think if you're not academic, you're never going to be able to get the grades. And I just wasn't academic. I had no
Yeah.
interest in learning what the fucking square root of 5 was, what Pythagoras' theorem and all this shit. I
Yeah.
just had zero interest. So for me, it was just, I wanted to go out and earn money. And that was the motivation. And then when I went out and started doing a few bits, I ended up kind of having to learn on the job, really. And I think if you're determined and hardworking, and you don't, because a lot of people don't want to work.
That's it, yeah.
I've always liked working. I've always liked grafting. So I think if you're a grafter and you don't mind hard work, you don't mind getting up early, so many people I work with, they're all, 5 o'clock. They're like, oh, it's 5 o'clock now, and
But do you think that's because you're a creator, Sel? Because I know, like myself, when I work for myself, I can work for. I don't work. I don't feel like I work. I love what I do. I don't feel like I go to work if I'm on my retreats or whatever I'm doing. It's because it's my business. I think it's my vision, and I think some people, when you work for companies, you're working for someone else. It's the thing of being academic. They're making you a good worker for someone else's dream. Where if you can, I mean, your dream can still be academic, not saying that, but you've got to have a dream for something. You know what I mean? I think I was one of them at one point. I remember like thinking 4 o'clock, I want to clock out. They goes, well, in the overtime, I just go, nah, fuck that. I can't wait to go. Do you know what I mean? Get down the pub, get out with mates. But now I don't see it as work. I could do 12 hours and go straight through. It wouldn't matter to me now. But do you think that's because like when you started working for yourself, you had this vision, or did you have, well, when you actually got into the club scene, did you have a vision of blowing it up as big as it was going to go? Because it went off the scale. or is it just like
I think,
stages at a time?
I think the reality is everyone's got a choice. Yeah, you can go out and fucking, you know, do a 9 to 5 and, you know, just go through the motions. And you know, one day you might be the manager or you might be the area manager or whatever. But I was lucky that I fell into something, but I just worked out that the art of, you know, I've always had it in my DNA to graft. So when I had no fucking job and I was on the dole when the what do you call it, the recession came and, you know, we lost our house and everything went fucking pear-shaped. You know, I did anything for money. I made 5,000 plastic green wheelie bins in a car park in a pissing rain one day, right? I was a dustman for 3 weeks. I fucking cleaned 4 toilets. I did every fucking shit job you can think of. And most people would be like, do you know what? I'm not fucking doing that. You know, it's beneath me. But the bottom line is, I mean, my first job was in fucking McDonald's. So, you know, I was cleaning fucking toilets. I was walking up and down the road with a fucking jacket on saying litter patrol on it. I had people spitting on me and fucking abusing me, calling me Ronald McDonald and all this shit. And, you know, if you can, I actually always say this, if you can work in McDonald's for more than a year and do all the shitty jobs, you can do anything. And I think, and I think that's, people just have to, you know, to give you an example, right? We had this little bit of work that we needed to do at our house and it was just nothing, right? It was like, for a build, it was like a day's work maximum. So we had 3 people come round and quote us, right? And this isn't a fucking joke. This is, you know, true, right? So we had the typical sort of fat builder in his 50s, trousers around his fucking ankles, you know, big fucking derby, right? Cigarette in his mouth. And he was like, oh, you know, you know, it's a few days work, and all this. And it was all a bit like, fucking hell, you know, this geezer's hard work. And then he went, you know, it's going to be 600 quid. There's someone else come over, a slightly younger fella, and he was like, you know, I'll come and do a little bit, but, you know, it took me a couple of days, you know, it's 350 quid. And then a Polish fella come round, and he looked like a fucking serial killer, but he just literally turned up, and he went, I do it now, £100, right? So I went, fucking done. And he did it, and he done a fucking bang-up job. And the reality is, right, when you're in that mindset where you just want to fucking graft, you know, you're not trying to think of an excuse to fucking draw it out for 3 days and sit on your ass and fucking go home at 3 o'clock and fucking go down a pub at lunchtime and all this shit. They just want to graft, get paid, and fucking go on to the next one. Yeah. And I've always been like that. And I think if you have that vision, it doesn't matter what you do, if you just go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to work. You know, obviously, if you're working for yourself, you know, you're going to make more money, right? But if you're working for someone else, obviously the harder the work, the richer they get. But at the same time, you know, sometimes people have to do that. You know, the only reason I went into business was because I had to, because I was fucking skint. You know what I mean? If I hadn't have been skint and I was looking for anything to make...
Where was you from? I was off a council estate. Was you from a like working class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was conceived in Brixton.
And then London, Bermondsey,
conceived in Brixton, and then went to Putney, then Kingston, then I moved out to Bracknell, then Camberley. But I was always, you know, on the council estate. We didn't live in any nice areas, and the mentality of all the people on the council estate was, you know, this is what you do, this is how it is, you know. And when I started working for myself and I wanted to crack on, people was like, get in your fucking lane. You know what I mean? They was all a bit like, you know, this is how it is up here. And it's just like, no, that's why you're still on here, mate. That's, you know, if you want to get off the fucking estate,
that was
you know, go and have a graft.
That was my motivation, mate, to get out. I had an uncle that lived in West Kingsdown, and since I was a kid, I went down there, felt like I was right in the countryside, and I had that vision that I wanted out, you know what I mean? But I'm still I love my roots. But
on the estate I used to live on, I used to walk, used to go down, cross over the road and walk down this thing called the A30, right, which is London Road in Camberley. Yeah. And to get into Camberley, you could either walk down the A30, which was just like walking down a dual carriageway, or you could walk through the posh fucking estate. So I used to walk down the posh estate, look at all the houses and go, fucking hell, I'd love to have one of these. And then I think because of that, that made me visualize it, even though I didn't know anything about visualization or using the power of positive thought. I just looked at it and thought, I want to fucking be in one of them. Do you know what I mean? And I think that actually helped me, because I think if you get something in your head and you go, actually, I want to do that, then, you know.
Definitely. The vision definitely counts.
Yeah. I mean, people say it's all mumbo jumbo and bollocks, but, you know, I left school with no qualifications. I didn't know anything about fucking positive mental attitude or thinking, or I didn't know anything about any of that, but did it, you know what I mean, without knowing. And then later on, when I started reading up on all these books, I just thought,
started putting two and two together.
Fucking hell, I've been doing this for fucking years, you know what I mean?
I seen a thing on Jim Carrey. He said he used to drive up, similar to what you're saying. He said when he was skint delivering pizza or something in 1984, I think it was, he used to drive up to Mulholland Drive in LA, park in his car, and he said he didn't know what he was doing. He does now. He's massive in the mind, like you're saying about yourself, you understand it. But he said, I used to drive up into LA, park outside these gaffes, all the rich lives. And he went, I used to sit there and I used to visualise producers coming up to me saying, I like your work, and like all things, like all these sort of things I want, like cars, whatever. And he said, I've never done it because I knew what I was doing. I've done it because it made me feel good. And he went, that's how I first started. And the next thing you know, they did start coming up to me and saying, I like your work and all this. You know?
Hey, Jim, you're a funny fucking guy, Jim. We think you're a fucking funny guy.
What's that? Oh, Jim, good fella. Oh, on good fella. Yeah, yeah.
But I think I actually do. You know, when you actually look at funny guy. Yeah, but when you look at all these different things, I do think that, you know, you just need to because there's an old saying, you know, if you think you can do it and you think you can't do it, right, then you know, you're right. And it's true. Because if you actually go around going, I'm a fucking bum, I haven't got nothing, then guess what? You're going to have nothing. If you keep complaining about, I'm fucking fat, or, you know, whatever, then you're not doing it. You've got to say, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to be, I think a lot of people underestimate the positive mental
they focus on the problem, try to remove the problem instead of focusing on the game. Exactly. That I know that quote you're on about. It's Henry Ford. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. I love that as well. So
it's true, isn't it? You know, you walk around going, if it's great, if it's fantastic, and then you have a nice day, or you can get out of bed in the morning and go, I've got the I fucking hate everyone. You know, everyone's a cunt, whatever. Yeah. And then you're in that mindset where you're talking yourself into a fucking. But it's like you go in a pub and you got the and you want to fucking have a punch up with someone. Well, you're probably going to have a punch up with someone because you're giving off that vibe that you're on the fucking egg. You know what I mean? So I think you just have to.
You was doing box. I watched little bits of documentaries on you in that. I see that you've done a bit of boxing and stuff. And when you went into that game, like you was into fitness, you was boxing, you was eating well, and that was like a mad thing for that game. It all went fucking wrong. Now, what happened there then? How did that work? Because
do you know what? Someone took me to a rave and they kept going, you got to go to this rave. You got to, and bear in mind, my clubbing experience was sticky carpets, pints, the erection section where you go up to a girl and say, oh, do you want to dance? You walk around fucking in circles with her, trying to get her drunk and take her home. And then you fall out the club, get a kebab, and then you might have a fight. And then if you're really lucky, you'd have a kebab, a fight, and a shag. So that was a good night.
South London. But
that was how it was. So if you go from that to then walking into a what do you call it, like you know, a rave, and there's like fucking 5,000 people all jumping around. There's beautiful looking women in hot pants all coming up to you going, oh, come on, let's have a dance and all that. You do actually think, fucking hell, you know, this is like I've flown to a fucking different planet and I've been let loose. So that was what turned my eye, if you like, and that's what made me, you know, do you know, that's what drew me into the club scene. Do you know what I mean? And then after that,
you've got to tell the story about the when you said, because there weren't no bullying going on in your clubs, or nothing was there. There was no aggro. I remember you said there was no aggro in there. It was like everyone would have a good time partying. You know, it was the days of the ecstasy and everything. But there was a geezer. Then someone come robbing in there once, and then
do you know what? The problem
when
is,
they put them on stage. That one, that's a belter.
If you got 5,000 people right in a rave. And bear in mind, like everywhere in England now has been gentrified, yeah. So if you went to Brixton or Hackney or Stratford, you know, 20 years ago, it was a different place, right? But now it's like nice. You walk around there now and it's like fucking hell, everyone's it's like loads of posh people and it's all you know fucking hippies and like you know I don't know what you call them. They're like fucking all wandering around doing yoga and fucking it's
hugging trees and that. Yeah.
But we did have people because they were in those areas. You had the gangs coming in, and they just thought, well, there's 5,000 people in here. We're going to make some money. So the only way to stop it was to educate them, and that was by either beating them up or stripping them naked and put them on a stage, and then and saying to them, walk through the crowd. Because I stopped the music and say, this cunt is mugging people in this rave, and he's now leaving. And then they walk out, and you'd have, everybody in the road just punching the fuck out of them. So
you didn't have to do anything yourself.
You didn't have to do anything. You just threw them out. Let the ravers do it. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if you heard that, guys. What they used to do is it's a blind day. So strip, if they caught someone mugging someone, they'd catch the bully, take him backstage, strip his clothes off, stick him on the stage, over the mic, tell the whole club that he's been robbing people, and chuck him out. I thought it was a blinding way.
To be honest, yeah. When we did Gary's Nation, we had a few problems, I suppose really with the garage crowd, they used to dress up, it was all about champagne, all the girls were dressed up, whereas in a drum and bass rave, you'd have everyone like in tracksuits, trainers, I think it was always a little bit more lively, especially the jungle scene, you know what I mean? But that was it, what the police should do now is they should adopt my tactics and they should just drive around in a fucking white van. And when these people are nicking people's phones and mugging them, they should just put them in the back of the van, beat the fuck out of them, strip them naked and just throw them out and let them mob alone. And then they soon stop fucking doing it.
They stop doing it. Old school methods. So how did you, so anyways, so when them clubs things, it went right off, didn't it? Globally, didn't it really? Didn't you go like...
Yeah, it started off... To be honest, I didn't know how it was going to go, but it went well, and we ended up, within a year it was sort of big, and then it started going all around the country, then it went all around the world, and
crazy.
I think sort of 6 years down the line, I was actually looking back on it, thinking, "Fucking hell,
how the fuck did I do that?"
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, it is mad. It is fucking.
You're too busy looking forward, I suppose. All the time, no choice, did you? The next goal, the next mission, the next country.
Yeah, when you're in it, you don't realise what's going on. You know you're working hard and you know you're earning money, but you don't know. I don't think you get a chance to appreciate it.
Yeah,
and that's my only regret. I think I was in my 20s, and I was
hunger, isn't it? That hunger.
Honestly in my 20s. I was a different person to I was in my 30s, and now I'm in my 40s. I'm even more, every decade I change. So I look back in my 20s and I just think, I can't believe I fucking do that. And I think that was, but you grow up, you know what I mean? I think as you get older, your priorities change, and you don't really want to be in a fucking rave till 6 a.m, wearing a bulletproof vest with a load of fucking lunatics around you know what I mean? So
yeah, much better nowadays. And how does it go from there into the acting? I mean, how the fuck did that happen?
Well, no,
because you've been in a lot of stuff. I mean, was it like you was in My Family in 2003, done EastEnders, One Man and His Dog, Baby Juice Express, The Build, Crash. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's like, it's mental how you've gone from being a club promoter to now you're producing as well.
So I sold out of it in 2003, and then just as I sold out of it, I had people. I had a guy phone me up and say, "I'm making a film. Do you want to be in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Be a laugh." And then that's what got me a taste for it. And then I got an agent, and then got a few auditions, and then I sort of started nicking some parts. So
how did you do you have any lessons, or did you just go and fucking blag it?
What's that, mate?
How did you learn to act? Did you just blag it? Just what you knew on the street?
No, I didn't fucking know. I didn't know anything about acting. I grew up watching movies, and I love movies, but. When I actually went into it and I started to work, I realised, it's not just about fucking learning your lines and turning up and saying them. You have to fucking do the bits and pieces. So I went to acting school, and my wife thought I was fucking mad. You know what I mean? She said, "Well, you're going to fucking school. You're 31, And I was like, "Well, I want to learn how to do it properly." You know what I mean? And I did that for 2 years. But what was interesting was the guy who taught me was this guy from New York. And he actually said to me, he said, "Terry, you can do all this stuff. You can read all the books. You can go to fucking RADA, whatever. But he said, the only way you're going to learn to act is if you actually do the work." So he said, focus on actually doing the work. Forget the fucking lessons and the stuff. Actually do the work.
Get in there.
And he said, if you do this for 20 years, you know, after you've done it for 20 years, you can call yourself an actor. But he said, you know, you're not an actor till you've been working for 20 years. So I've got 2 more years to go, and then I'm going to start telling everyone I'm a fucking top actor.
That's brilliant. That Tamer, he said the same. He said he learned on set as well. We had the same similar story to you. He got offered for a movie and that, and he said he learned as he went.
I mean, he was lucky. He was lucky, Tamer, because you know, I think his first film was Football Factory.
Yeah, is that his first one? Yeah.
And I think so. And you know, obviously, if you get fucking cast in something like that with Nick Love, you know, it's like it's a little bit like Lock Stock, yeah, with Jason Statham and Vinnie Jones. You know, they just were, you know, so lucky. You know, you got a retired footballer and a professional diver, and those were the only 2 actors in that film that absolutely fucking smashed it and become, you know, big stars. And you think you had all the sort of harder people, all the lovelies, all the people that have been, you know, the proper actors, and they're all sitting there going like, what the fuck's going on? You know, why are they fucking cracking on? But, you know, for whatever reason they did. Good luck to them. You know, Vinny and Jason are great guys. And, you know, I sort of wish them all the luck in the world. But that is how fucking mad the business is. You know, you can be in the right place at the right time.
It can also be the opposite, can't it, the people? But be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
For the rest of us, we have to work our bollocks off and fucking... and that was it. You know, we did... How
was that, though? Because, I mean, going into acting and getting EastEnders, it must have been a belter for the, like, your early career. Like, it must have been quite...
Do you know that? It was, I mean, 20 million people watched that. So it was mental, fucking, that was when EastEnders was like, you know, everyone watched it, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's awkward. I mean, you know, you do it, and because it was my first job, I didn't know what I was fucking doing, you know. So I'd like to go back on it at some point and terrorise somebody, maybe Danny Dyer in the Queen Vic.
Be the bad guy.
Or fucking kill. I like to kill Phil Mitchell, actually. I just like fucking iron him out.
Put one in his mouth.
Or Ian Bill. I'd like to fucking shoot him in the face.
It's about time he goes, isn't it? It's about time he went. Fucking hell.
But I think so. I'd like to kill Ian Bill. I'd like to shag Shirley.
She's a weapon, Shirley.
Yeah, Shirley, or what was the other one called? The bird with a curly hair. You know, was it Shirley? Was the old bird one?
You're joking. Yeah. Shirley.
Who's the
one that your sister was saying?
Who was the big bird? There was a big bird in there. I can't remember her name, but I can't. Heather, that's it. Heather. Yeah, somebody's just heathered me up. Yeah, so yeah, Heather. I mean, so I wouldn't mind having a little little film with her. Shoot Ian Bill, go out of Heather, shake Shirley, and drown Danny Dyer in the Queen.
I think you'll fucking send it in.
I might write it up and just post it.
How about throwing a bit of Sonia in there, bit of trumpet. Get Sonia on the trumpet.
Yeah.
What was? So I mean, when you went into that, so what was your first film? Was that? No, what was that one? First
film was Hell to Pay, right? But for some reason, it never come out till 2005. So 2005 was when it came out. But that was the first film I did. But the first film that I sort of did in 2003, that came out in 2003, was One Man and His Dog. And then after that, I did a film called Rolling with the Nines that got BAFTA nominated, One Rain Dance. You know, it was a big success. And that really was the Boys in the Hood film. You know, before these like hood films come out, Blue Story and Kid Up Hood and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Rolling with the Nines. I mean, that was like a fucking full on, and that was all based on true stories. And we had people like Kano, Dizzy Rascal, Heartless Crew, Estelle, Miss Dynamite, all them fucking people that used to work for me in the race. So when we did this film,
really? All of them, yeah?
Yeah, all of them. We had like Robbie G, Vass Blackwood was in it, Simon Webb from Blue. Someone said the best part of the film was when he got shot in the face. But it was a good.
Watch that one, Rolling with the Lions, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie, and that was my second film, and then we started developing Rise of the Foot Soldier, and I remember when we was touting it around, people were going, no one's going to fucking watch this. You know, it's fucking, you know, who wants to, you know, the Essex Boys has been done. And it's like, the Essex Boys hasn't been done. You know, Sean Bean plays a fucking Northerner in it, and they're not actually called the fucking real people. So when I saw that film, I was disappointed because I went to see it because I thought, wow, you know, the Essex Boys. But when I actually watched it, it was just shit. And I thought, actually, I wouldn't mind doing something with a bit of football hooliganism in it, and something with, you know, a bit of Essex Boys in it. And I was at Ascot, and I was walking down from Ascot on that Royal Meeting Week. And there used to be an Italian restaurant in Ascot called Chow 90s, and we used to always go there every night after the racing. And on the Thursday night, for some reason, Carlton Leach was on the door. And he went, "Oh, Tell, you know, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, you're in the movies now, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I saw them 2 films you made." He goes, "I really like them." He said, "You should make my book into a film." And I remember saying, yeah, all right, you know, get us a copy. And I'm sitting down and he brings it over. There's a picture of him on the front, and it was called Muscle. And I remember like looking at it and thinking, who's going to want to fucking watch a film about a doorman, right? But then I just thought, you know, I was polite to him and I went, yeah, I'll read it, I'll have a look. And then I went home and I couldn't put the fucking book down. I mean, it was a really good book. And it was like Goodfellas meets fucking The Football Factory. That was what the book read like to me.
Yeah.
And all the stuff with Nigel Benn and fucking the Essex Boys and all that stuff. But the problem was we couldn't fit it all into one film. So when you watch the original Rise of the Foot Soldier, it's like 2 films. It's like the first half is about Carlton and the ICF, and then the second part is about the Essex Boys. So it was a little bit of it was a little bit odd. And then you had people that liked Carlton, and you had people that was like, "Fuck Carlton, we want to watch the Essex Boys." So I think then what happened, they did the second film, which was what Carlton did after the Foot Soldier thing. And then I think, you know, I don't know what Carlton did after that, but I think people started saying, "Oh, you really got to do the you know, some more of Tony, Pat, and Craig and all that." And it was all a bit like, well, they're dead, you know, it's a bit difficult. And they said, well, you know, nobody's actually gone into the Pat Tate or the Tony Tuck story or this or that. So then they went, all right, well, let's do the Pat Tate story. And you know, what's interesting, right, is you had a few people like moaning about it, saying it's fucking shit, and why have you done that, and you know, it's ruining the brand, and you know, you're all too old to play the actors and all this, the characters. But the reality is, right, those fucking films did massive business. I mean, huge business in America, in Germany, in Australia, in New Zealand, in England. So whether you fucking like them or not, people are still buying them.
People must like them. Yeah.
You know, when the last one, The Foot Soldier for Marbella, come out, that was #1, right? So that was #1 when it was released on the. There's a thing called Premium Video on Demand, which means when the film's out in the cinema, you can also watch it on iTunes or on Sky, but you pay 10 quid for it, right? So it was #1 in the charts for that. Then when it came out in January, it was fucking #1 again. So you got Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you got all these fucking £100 million films, and then you got a little fucking £1 million film there kicking their asses, right? So but then you've got all these fucking pricks online going, oh, you know, why don't you give it a rest and all this shit? But the reality is, if people stop buying them, they wouldn't be making.
They wouldn't be out there, yeah.
So you know, everybody says the first one, you know, was the best one. Some people think the fourth one is as good as the first one, or you know, is better. Everyone's got their own opinion, but the fourth one was done more like, you know, they wanted to cover the Tony Tucker and Nigel Benn stuff, just a little snippet of it, and they wanted to put a few of the stories in that weren't in the first one, but most of that was just made up. You know, they didn't go to Amsterdam and get on it and fucking hijack someone in a fucking camper van and you know, go.
It makes good watching.
Yeah, it was all bullshit, right? But it was funny, and the amount of people. When we went down to Marbella, we had a premiere in Marbella in October.
I was there actually.
Cinema, 1,000 fucking people there. I mean, it's packed, right?
I didn't go.
Was you there? No.
I wanted the premiere, but I got a retreat in Marbella, and then Gaffney was on it, and Tom Zanetti rang him up and said, come over. So on the last night when it all finished, we come to the after thing, but we didn't get to the.
I didn't see. If I'd have seen Dean, I'd have asked him if he was going to clean up and where's Wellard. But no, boy, listen, we had a great night, and the film went down a treat, and then we had the London premiere a month later. But you know, they're doing a Tony Tuck story next, so their script's being written for that now, and I think the plan is to film it in September. But you know, who knows? I mean, we just got to get this fucking we got to fuck this virus off, and then we can all go back to work.
Definitely, I can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. So, what's the plans for the future then? Any more rises?
Well, I'm going to find out who's released the coronavirus, and I'm going to fucking kill him. But that's it basically. That's all I want to do.
The mission.
No, do you know something? We've got a film, a horror movie called The Heiress that's coming out. We just started filming the Gary's Nation documentary about the Gary scene, and a little bit like we did with United Nation. Nobody has actually, made a decent drum bass documentary, right? So that's why we made the United Nation 3 Decades drum bass. And, we was originally going to do the story about Gary's Nation, One Nation in one film, but we just thought it's too many, there's too many stories, it's 2 films here. So we've done the One Nation drum bass one. We're doing the Gary's Nation one, but what's interesting and what spun out of these, I've now done an audio book of my book, King of Clubs, which I'm just about to release. I haven't got a date yet, but it'll be released soon. So I'm going to obviously push that out on here when it's out. There's a TV series being developed, and then there's film. So there's loads of stuff that's kind of happening in the background. But with all these things,
and you're doing producing as well. You're producing stuff, aren't you, yourself?
Well, I put things together. Sometimes I produce stuff. Sometimes I'm involved in stuff, but it's like arm's length basis. You know what I mean? Where someone will come to me and go, "Do you want to get involved in this?" And sometimes I get involved in things as an actor. Sometimes it's a producer. Sometimes it's a producer as an actor. But got quite a few things happening. I'm also going to do some events as well. Because we did a premiere and a rave for United Nation 3 Decades drum and bass, and that was a great night. I mean, we had it's quite funny because you had all the fucking DJs and MCs there, you had all the celebrities there, and you had a load of fucking ravers there. So you had people in there like raving about and looking over, going, "There's a fucking DJ Rap over there." Fucking Andy C. And then it's like, what's the guy from fucking Love Island doing over there? What's that girl from EastEnders? So you could see the look on people's faces, but it was quite nice. It was a good night, and everyone enjoyed the movie. Everyone enjoyed the after party. So I think I might do a couple of events, but my love is film now and TV.
Yeah, you can see it. That was good. I watched The Rise of the Foot Soldier a few weeks ago. Blind in the fourth one. Funny, mate. Yeah. And Roland, he's from Bermondsey, like me. I'd seen him for years. Seen him when I was a kid. He brought up around Lucy Way. He was Roland. And how's he getting on?
Roland.
Do you see much of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good mate of mine. So I don't see him every day, but
but
we hook up every now and then and have a drink. And but he's a nice guy, and he's a good actor. And in the Tony Tuck story, it's going to be me, him, our story, and obviously Nigel Benn's going to be in it, or Connor's going to play him rather, and then there's going to be obviously Bernard Mahoney, and then there'll be Pat Tate in there as well. But I think the main story is about all the stuff. I mean, Tony Tucker was in the parachute regiment. A lot of people don't even fucking know that. When he come out, when he come out, he worked on the doors, and then he got involved in drugs, then he got involved in fucking doing steroids, and ended up growing his hair and just looking like a fucking lunatic, and got in with the wrong crowd, and the rest is history. So that's all going to be told in this new film. So I think it's going to be exciting.
Will they do a Tony Tucker film, do you think?
They're doing it. That's the next one. Tony Tucker.
Yeah.
That's the next one. Rise of the Foot Soldier 5.
Blinder. That'd be good. Yeah, I like the thing is I watched that Jack Spot and that.
The Once Upon a Time in London.
Blinding, yeah. Because my first book, I've only read a couple of books in my life. I'm dyslexic, I've listened to all their books, but I read a book when I was a kid on Jack Spot and having all the rackets. When I see that, I was all over it. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, Netflix has just released it worldwide, so
good acting in that as well, Tel. Good acting in that one. You've done a good part in that.
No, thanks, mate. Thank you.
Really good. Quality, and so I can't remember the film now, but didn't he get iron? Didn't Frankie Fraser get hold of him, or someone carved him right up?
Yeah, Frankie Fraser.
Pieces, didn't he, in the book? I think.
Yeah. I mean, they all did. I mean, he yeah, he didn't know when to quit while he was ahead.
Yeah. He was still, he died skint, didn't he? He was in Paddington, I think. He ended up about 90 years old or something. I was saying he was quite old when he died, I think. But yeah, no, it's blinding movie. So what's the mindset? What would you say to anyone at the moment, you know, who's getting into acting, or, you know, just in their life in general, while they're at home for this time? What would Terry Stone's sort of advice be to sort of, you know, because everyone's confused, as you said earlier, we can all be thinking of what we don't want, like the illnesses, we can focus on the problems in the world, we can get too caught up in this, and I think I'm scared about a lot of people after this are going to be scared to go out, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people are going to get anxiety to get back to normal after all this fear. You've got any advice there? What would your sort of advice be?
Advice what for what?
Just sort of like moving forward, sort of helping to.
I think people have just got to be a positive mindset. I mean, if you look at it in black and white, you know, 0.2% or something of the population in this country have died from the coronavirus. Yeah, so in relative terms, you know, it's nothing. You know, obviously, I've had people that I know really well that have died from it, and you know, it is fucking sickening. But the reality is they'd have probably died from the flu or fucking heart disease or cancer or something else anyway. So, you know, I just look at the country and you think there's 60 odd million people in this country. And if there's, you know, 0.2% of the country that have died from something, you know, you shut the whole country down. And you know, look, it doesn't matter if you're sitting there and you've got loads of money in the bank. You just sit there and go, great. Well, I'll just fucking go online. I'll have loads of fucking food, and I'll just sit on my arse all day and do fuck all. But then for the other 98% of the people in the world that are living in the real world, you know, they've got you know, bills to pay, and if they're being told sorry you can't work, oh, here's fucking your furlough or whatever, and then, you know, if you're earning fucking £4,000 a month, and then someone goes, well, here's £2,500 a month, you're £1,500 a month the wrong way, and you know, when I was younger and I was working, you know, I'd spend all my fucking money. But by the time I was in the third week, I'd done my fucking dough and I started using my credit cards. So now, if you've got a fucking wife and kids, and you got a mortgage, and you got to buy food, and you got to fucking put petrol in a car and all this shit, you know, the banks are going, oh yeah, you know, we'll help you. But they're not helping. They're just fucking. They're just fucking putting interest on everything. You know, they're just rolling the fucking interest up, right? Definitely. So they're just going. You know, you can pay it, but pay it later. So you're going to still pay it. We're not doing you any fucking favors.
100%.
You know, I actually just think that all you can do is be positive. I mean, look, I've been out, right, and I've gone to probably 10 places. I went to see my mum and drop something off her because she's like 70 odd and she can't fucking go out. And I did a few little bits for the NHS, but all the stuff that I've done and everywhere I've been, right, there's nobody, maybe one or two people out of probably 30, right, that I've seen that are actually wearing masks and gloves and, you know, taking the precautions that when you watch these videos in China and stuff, and you think, fucking hell, what's happening over there, right? But, you know, there's all them people walking about just going, well, fuck it, you know, I'm not wearing gloves, I'm not wearing a mask. And then you go, well, you know, there's not a massive spike in it. No. And you know, if you've been to 10 different places and and it's the same everywhere you go, I can't say it's the same for the whole country, but if a lot of people are just saying, oh, who cares? It's not taking it seriously, you know, and there is no spike and it's, you know, locking everybody up. I think it does more harm to people's mental health, to people's businesses. I mean, there's people that I know.
Sam, when people get stressed, we release our cortisol. Cortisol's a poison that the brain releases into the system. And when we live in these high frequencies of stress, and every day we're looking at a telly and stressing, I mean, not me, but people are, they're looking at a telly and panicking, they're releasing this high cortisol, and this is going to start damaging your organs, if you like it or not. Because no living organism can live in a high state of stress because of the cortisol. So, you know, more than they will get more illnesses.
The only thing that I've done personally is I've made myself busy. So if I haven't got anything to do, I'll create something. Yeah. If you know, if I want to watch something, but I'm just trying. I think you've got to keep yourself busy, because if you keep yourself busy, you're not thinking about it. But I think if you are sitting indoors, I mean, the worst case scenario, and this is probably 80% of the country right now, 80% of the country is sitting indoors, thinking, you know, how the fuck am I going to survive? How the fuck am I going to pay my bills? So, you know, being cooped up, you know, because 0.2% of the population have died from this thing. And you know, you read the papers. Now, if there was consistent stuff in the papers and on the TV, you know, I think it's more compelling. But when you look at it and it's people saying, well, you know, it affects fat people. Well, it affects black people. Oh, it affects old people.
It's changing every 5 minutes.
But now it affects young people, middle-aged people, healthy people. It affects all these different people. So you just start thinking, well, what is it? What is it? Do you know what I mean? And then some people are saying it's a virus, some people are saying it's a biological thing. The actual reality is nobody fucking knows. So when you hear all this stuff, you do sit there thinking, like, what the fuck's going on? And, you know, there was when it first came out, there was reports saying 80% of the country are going to get this thing, whatever it is, right? So you think, well, locking them up, when they let them out, they're going to fucking get it anyway. What's the point? I mean, I know people.
I think what's going to happen if when everyone's out again, it's going to spread again. I want it to take another 6 months.
But the reality is this, right? Let's just say it doesn't spread again, right? Then, you know, well done for the government, and you know, it just goes to show what the fuck do we know, right? But I just think that I know lots of people who've got businesses, and a lot of people that have got businesses now are you know, they're fucking in a lot of problems, you know, because the landlords are going, fuck you, pay me. The suppliers are going, you know, we want fucking paying. It's like, well, how am I going to pay you? And then the staff are all going, I can't afford to fucking pay my bills. So if you own a business and you employ people, you know, you're probably getting fucking 50 phone calls a day saying, we need money, we need this, we need that. If you're sitting there, you're going, well, what am I going to do? So I don't know. I just think it's a tough situation for everybody. But I think the only way through it is keep yourself busy. And as soon as, and look, if you have lost your job, I actually think the best thing to do is when it actually does ease up, you have to go. You have to go and do. You know, there's loads of jobs, right? There's loads of jobs. There's people I know who used to work for Virgin Airways and BA and different things, and they've either gone to become delivery drivers, or they've gone to you know, work in a supermarket. But or yeah, there's all them fruit pickers and stuff. So there's plenty of fucking things to do if you need to go and earn £1 note. But I'm hoping you know, when we start easing the lockdown over the next few weeks, that, you know, because there was a lot of talk about, you know, everybody was worried about this, and you know, that they're building all these emergency hospitals because, you know, this was going to happen, that was going to happen, and they haven't used the hospitals. So, you know, some people are saying that we haven't got the strain of the virus they've got in America, that it's different in France and all this shit, because nobody actually knows. Nobody actually can say what it is. And, you know, I'm sure in a year's time we'll all look back on this and we'll either go, fucking hell, the government's done a great job, or actually, why the fuck did they do that? It was unnecessary.
Someone put a quote out the other day that did make me think. He said, how can this virus be killing it? How can soap kill it, but the government can't find a way to cure it? It does make you question things, doesn't it? If
you know what? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I don't fucking have any clue on anything. But you know, I've talked to people. I've got friends who are doctors. I've got friends who work in hospitals. I've got people that, you know, are nurses on the NHS. I know loads of fucking people, and everybody's got a different, you know, story, a different take on it, you know. And you know, whatever the government does, right? If they hadn't locked us down, they'd have been wrong. If they'd have locked us down, they'd have been wrong. If you know, whatever they do, you know, people can go, oh, you should have done this.
Yeah,
but they're not.
True.
But you know, we're all fucking experts, aren't we? But the reality is, you know, how do you, if you get told, if you don't do this, 5 million people are going to fucking die.
Right,
if you've got some professor who sits there and tells you, you know, 5 million people are going to die, and you go, look, mate, we're staying open, we don't care what you think, and then 5 million people do die,
then
you're not going to be in government for very long. So I do understand that they have to rely on these people, and if these people have got it wrong, they got it wrong. You know, there's nothing you do about it.
I mean, it's just safety first, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, I just hope we all get back together and, you know, get back to work soon and put it all behind us. I mean, that's it. But, you know, I'm positive. You know, I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, you know, the world's ended. I think the world's going to be reset, and I think things are going to be different. But I I
I
don't, you
agree
know.
with you, mate. So people at home, get yourself something to do. I mean, that's what I hate routine, I do, but at the minute I'm going to do my walks every morning, a little run in the afternoon, you know, to keep myself busy. And I think that is the trick for it, because you can't, as you say, you can't fucking change what's happening. It's happening. There's no good crying about it and wishing. I
Yeah.
mean, my business in Spain sale is going to be, it's looking fucking hard at the minute, because you know, it's just that if you paid everything up for the year, and now I'm sitting here, nothing coming in. So, you know, everyone's in the same boat. I ain't sitting here worrying about it, because I am worried about it. There's nothing I can physically do at the moment until this is over. So,
Yeah.
it's
But I
just
think that's it. And
it's a
everyone's in the
horrible
same
time.
base. Everyone's in the same base. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, it's. I mean, that's the only good thing about it. Everyone's in the same place. So, yeah, no, you know, there's going to be people making money out of it. Obviously, you know, everyone started selling fucking hand sanitizer for 10 quid and face
I
masks for
think
20 quid on
every
eBay.
celebrity I've seen has become a fitness instructor. And fucking jumping up and down, you know what I mean? It's fucking mental, but I suppose at least they're doing their bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
no, I think it's
Phil,
good.
thank you for your time, mate.
No
Absolute
problem, mate.
legend stories, absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. I
Thanks
hope
for
you all
having me on,
enjoyed
mate.
that, guys.
It's good to talk to you, Rob.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. So honestly,
No
that's
problem.
brilliant, mate. I love all the
Right.
stories. I love the
I'll
stripping
see
on the
you after
stage.
I'll see you after lockdown, mate. We'll
Have a
get
beer,
together.
eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
All right, see you later, mate.
Thank you, Terry. God
Bye,
bless you.
mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yep. So straight talking there, Terry Stone. Love that. Yeah, good guy. But I like people that just tell you how it is. It's just got their view, and that's it. No fucking about. But it's true. Everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's a fucking scientist or a doctor at the minute, and it does come down to safety, doesn't it? You know, keep your nut down and do our bit. It's the best we can do. But yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Tomorrow it's going to be a good one as well. My mind's gone dead. What day is it today? Fucking, I've got tomorrow. It's Friday, innit? Fucking what's going on? Oh, I've got a Dennis McCann. Yeah, no, it ain't. No, it ain't. He's Saturday. Fuck me, my brain's actually gone to mush. But I'll post it in a minute anyway. I've got loads of people lined up. So, yeah, keep looking. Tune in tomorrow at 7. I'll post it in a minute who's on tomorrow. And I look forward to having you on soon. And have a good day. Look after each other and stay safe. Take it easy. Thank you.